We live?
Says
You go.
in broadcast.
We're live.
Oh.
It didn't pop up on the screen like it normally does, but I see I got a countdown over there.
Uh-oh.
See it?
It's counting up.
Yeah.
Not down.
Oh, well. Same thing.
Uh-uh.
Oh,
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, grab a pen.
Oh, no, you got to go get one.
Let me grab one real quick.
So I got to say what day it is anyway.
All right.
It is Saturday, July the 22nd in Central Alabama anyway.
That's right.
At 7:05 Central Time.
Central Time.
Might be some good evenings coming through because, in Australia, it's going to be a different time.
There it is. Good morning from Australia already.
Well, good morning. You said good morning.
They said good morning.
I know, but I'm saying, here I was saying that it may not be morning.
It's not morning over there. It wasn't last time.
Ooh, did y'all hear that?
Is it thundering?
It's thundering.
Yep.
Well, we're drinking coffee.
We are. I gotta have to sneeze, I think.
You're okay. Go ahead and sneeze. So we're drinking coffee this morning. Are you drinking coffee? Or have you just not gotten up and at them yet?
Ooh.
Or have you already had your coffee? I'm reading comments.
Are you?
Sorry.
Read away.
So if you hadn't had your coffee, you can go to www. No, seriously. Coffee's still doing well. People are still telling us how much they enjoy it.
Yes.
And we are thrilled to hear that because, as I've said, I think it's the best coffee I've ever had.
Yeah. The reviews and response have been great, and we thank you guys. Somebody said they're on their third cup.
Ooh.
We thank y'all so much. It's been amazing.
It has. And if it rains, I'm gonna be on my third cup.
To go blow my nose.
Because we have big plans today, and if y'all heard that thunder, I'm not gonna be outside in it. I'm gonna be inside drinking more coffee, building up my energy for later. But it's a 60% chance of rain here today. We knew going into today that it could be wet, but our forecast isn't always what it says it's going to be.
You never know, do you?
We had plans to get up at daylight.
It was raining. And
start our day, but it was raining.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to sleep in a little bit.
Yep.
And we were trying to figure out how we were going to work this live around our work. We were going to have to stop working, come in, do the live. I told Jason, I said, by 7:00, we'll be wanting to break anyway.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. We haven't even been outside yet because it's been raining.
Yep.
And it's still thundering. So I'm not going to complain because
we need the rain.
We need the rain, but we also need to work.
We need to work too. So. Oh, me. Oh.
So what's going on?
I've got some allergies this past few weeks. I don't know what it is.
Well, one day this week, we all were kind of sniffly, and we got into something, and we're not certain what it is, but I think yours is probably plant related.
It's got to be something out there that's blooming that I hadn't seen yet, and it has been rough.
Well, mine has disappeared, thankfully, and we're childless.
Yes.
We don't have a child. Well, not in the house anyway. She's
not in the house.
She spent the weekend with Piper.
Yep.
And at some point we're gonna get her again.
At some point.
We don't know when.
When she calls and says, "I'm ready to come home," then
we'll arrange for pickup. But
yep.
She's having fun, and that's all we can ask is.
They don't happen very often.
Well,
us being childless.
It doesn't. And Jason and I actually got to go out to dinner last night. We sent Mary Carl a picture of us.
Yeah, we got to eat at a restaurant that she doesn't care for, that we like.
So we took a selfie in front of it and sent it to her, and she sent rolling eyes back.
Oh, that's so
But it
funny.
was so good. It was
was
so
good.
good.
It
And
was.
not to say we don't enjoy her company, because we do,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always nice to get away and have a little date night, so to speak.
We did have a little date night and got to eat at our restaurant that we don't get to eat at very often.
And we think that if we say that we like something, then that's when she decides that she may not like it.
Yeah. She's in that rebellion stage.
And we're not for sure if that's how it's working, but we're going to start saying we don't like everything. We don't like that. We don't like that place.
That's right.
You know, we hate that place. And then
That's right.
she's going to want to go there all the time.
Uh-huh.
Little reverse psychology. I think it'll work.
Unless she's watching the live.
Oh, I think she's probably still asleep.
Yeah.
But
She's probably still asleep.
She might watch a replay though. Doesn't matter if you don't catch it live. You can watch it at any time.
I doubt she'll watch the replay.
She won't. We're just kidding.
Yep. I doubt she'll watch the replay.
So she got to Piper at 9:00 yesterday morning. So they've had a lot of time together, even as of now. She may not want to come home till tomorrow still, but who knows?
Who knows?
We'll see.
And well, we've mentioned it before that Piper's uncle is Ryan the roaster.
That's right. Meaning the coffee guy.
The coffee roaster. And so I got to hang out with him a good bit yesterday, and we had a good time. We had a really, really good time.
Yeah, it worked out because we were like, hey, we're going to be at Ryan's
Yep.
at 9:00. You want to meet us there? So Uncle got to see aunt and niece and
That's right.
have a big family reunion and take our child with them.
Somebody said that their dad tried reverse psychology and it backfired.
How's that?
I don't know. They just put laughing faces.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, you know, she's a pretty smart chick. She'd probably catch on.
Probably so.
She'd probably catch on. But
that was funny.
when we went in Ryan's yesterday morning, boy, he was hard at it roasting that coffee.
Yes.
I don't think the man sleeps.
It doesn't seem like it, does it?
Yeah, he's roasting all the time. And as a matter of fact, you know how you do something and it's repetitious?
Yeah.
I bet he roasts coffee in his sleep.
Well, I was over there talking to him because he was roasting coffee, and he just never stops. He's talking, carrying on a regular conversation, and then smelling it, putting it back, and it's like the roaster's not even there.
Well,
and he's steadily, doing this and doing that, but he's still talking.
He's definitely not ADHD. Because if he was, he would burn the coffee.
Oh, you're probably right.
And you guys wouldn't be very happy with his coffee.
But he did tell me he messed one up not too long ago.
Well, I guarantee you it's few and far between.
I bet it is too.
He is on point.
Yep.
He's got it going on.
He does got it going on. And what he was working on was the decaf.
Yay!
So we still got to get it on the website, get details worked out and all that kind of good stuff. But the decaf, I'm hoping, should be out next week. Fingers crossed it is on the website next week, but we'll have to wait and see. But it is in. He's working on it, roasting it, and he does all this, testing and.
Yeah, he wants to make sure everything's just perfect.
He does, and he sent me a text last night and said, "I'm drinking the decaf now, and it is awesome." And he said, "To be honest with you, because he's a coffee
guru,
or connoisseur, so he tastes things that I don't even know is there." And he said, I can't even tell it tastes. He said, it's hard to even tell it's decaf. So whatever that means, because I'm drinking decaf coffee and it tastes like coffee. But he said, I can't even tell it's decaf.
When we were trying to figure out what we wanted to offer you guys as far as what roast, what, not necessarily what flavor, he sent us a lot of different options.
Yes.
And I have never really been one to be able to tell the difference in if you had a can of just say Folgers,
Mhm.
and you had a can of Maxwell House, and you brewed me a cup of both, I probably couldn't tell the difference. I
Mhm.
just taste coffee. But I'm gonna tell y'all, when he sent us the different kinds and we tried it, I could tell the difference.
Oh, yeah, it's way different.
I don't know
Yeah.
why though.
It's the freshness of it.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. The quality of the bean, and probably the way he roasted, and the fresh, what he tells me.
Okay. Well,
so
I get
that
it.
all makes it all.
It adds
Yep.
up. It adds up because I could definitely tell the difference, and I
Right.
would be like, I taste a little bitterness in this one. I taste a little, it just I could tell differences.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a big,
science.
It is a science and an art. It's more of an art to me, but yeah, because I'm artistic. But yeah, science is probably a better word, I guess.
Somebody said earlier that if you're ADHD, then you have a better
hyper focus. Some people can be hyper focused.
Then you have better ability to multitask. In your case, that's not the
No,
case.
I can multitask. I can multitask well. It's just that I can get sidetracked really easily.
I guess that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Because in my old job, I had to multitask all the time.
But you might still leave the water running at home.
Let me tell you something. So yesterday, I went and gathered the eggs, and so I took care of Cheese and the girls and Mac. I took care of them, and of course, I 99% of the time I take care of Moody and the boys, and so I took care of them and clean out waters and stuff, gathered eggs, checked on the silkies, make sure they were okay, and was walking out, and I saw my bracelet.
Uh-huh.
And I realized I had left the Moody water on. Now, granted, I had the little valves turned off, but I still left the water, and the water was shooting up out of the spigot.
That could blow that faucet.
And I told myself, if I hadn't had that bracelet on, I would have left that water on 100%.
So if y'all didn't see my video, I explained in it, because there were some questions on the live, and that's why I decided to do it, about what is this bracelet that you use and where do you get it? And the ones that I saw were like in Australia, and they couldn't visually figure out what we were referring to.
Yeah.
So I did a video, and it wasn't just for Australian people, it was for all people. And did a video of how I went to the Dollar Tree and picked up these bracelets and put them on the faucets, and lo and behold, it has worked.
It worked.
It is successful.
I don't know if that was the first day, the next morning.
Well, yesterday would have been the first day that I had them out there.
Well, then it worked. It absolutely worked.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes, because the video went out on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yep. I would have left it on.
You would have left it on.
I would have left it. Luckily, like I said, it wouldn't have been just flowing constantly. But it still was. That faucet kind of, I guess almost all of them do that when you get that much water pressure. But it had it on, squirt. And it was just a little, going,
little squirt. So a lot of people said that I should have color coded them so you would know what faucet was left on.
Yeah.
Well,
I never remembered the color.
No, this is it. I do not want my people to cut on more than one faucet at a time. So if they have one bracelet on, they definitely don't need to go cut another faucet on.
Yeah.
You need to cut that one off before you go to another one.
Before you go to another one. That's right.
So you know the last one you cut on.
That's right.
And, some people were saying that you could just use a sign at Nuggets to cut the water off.
But once I walk away from it,
sign doesn't work.
Yeah. Once I walk away from that faucet, it's
that's the problem.
It's done.
Is the mind is focused on something else, and a sign is not in front of you any longer. That's right. So a sign will not help. It's got to be visible.
It worked.
It worked.
It worked. It really did work. I
hear rain too. If it gets to raining too hard, y'all won't be able to hear us.
Well, fingers crossed it doesn't do that. Yep.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yep.
Right?
That's right. Somebody want to know, did I get a haircut or did I shave? So there's a story behind I shaved. I didn't shave. I just trimmed it. And the light makes it look lighter than what it is. Plus, I'm getting grayer.
You are.
I'm getting grayer. And so, but what happened is that I got this beard trimmer, and it's got different clips on it, and I always use a number 3, and I couldn't find it, and I thought to myself, well, 2 can't be that much shorter than a number 3, so I used a 2, and it is a good bit shorter. So that's why it looks like this. It's but it'll grow back out.
It'll grow back out.
Mhm.
It's no big deal.
And I think I mentioned it before, but the reason why I keep a beard mainly is because my face gets irritated real easy and dries out. And for some reason, when I grow a beard, it doesn't do that. And so it actually maybe the opposite of, most people get itchy when they grow a beard, but I'm kind of the opposite. It keeps my face from itching. My face will really get red and rashed up and dry out, and for some reason the beard kind of keeps the moisture in, I guess.
Well, it looks good on you, so why not?
Why not? So that's why I do the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. So I wanted to tell y'all something. I talked about one time how loud I snore.
Oh,
and
yeah.
how that it affects other people's sleep when it wakes them at all hours, and it's anyway. So a lot of you, and I had not thought of this, a lot of you suggested that I may have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
And that I may need a CPAP. Well, guess what? I went to the trouble to get that taken care of. And last night was the first night that I have slept with the CPAP machine. And guess what?
How'd it go?
I woke up. It was raining, and I woke up and had to potty, and I felt like $1 million. And I had only been asleep at that point probably 4 hours, 5 hours maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I felt amazing. So I went and pottied and went back to sleep. And when I woke up the second time, I felt even more amazing.
So the first night was successful.
Yes. And I was wondering, I'm like, I wonder how long this is going to take, if I'm going to feel better or feel more rested. I wonder
Right.
how long it'll take.
Right.
And there were mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
I certainly wasn't expecting to feel better the next day. But it was kind of like, it may take up to a couple of weeks to feel any effects, So I didn't go by that. But when you physically feel good.
Right.
So my evidence is that I am well rested and I feel good, and that helped me. So I thanks to you for suggesting that may be something I needed to check into, and I appreciate it because I feel like I'm getting more quality sleep.
And you didn't know it until
I didn't know it till
this morning.
Yeah.
Ain't that something?
I didn't expect to feel better.
Right.
And not that I ever feel bad, I shouldn't say.
Right.
But I just feel more rested. And
Ain't that something?
And you physically know when you feel rested.
I think.
Well, tomorrow I may have a different opinion.
Or it could be. Maybe it could be a placebo effect. And in your mind, I wore it for the first time, so
I don't care.
I'm supposed to feel better.
I don't care.
That doesn't matter.
I don't care what the reason is.
That's right.
I feel better.
Like when they give people a sugar pill and tell them it's supposed to make them feel better.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And they take it, and then they feel better. And so.
Yeah, I get it.
But the mind's strong. The mind is a powerful thing. Ain't it?
Well, y'all, I had when I first put it on, I thought, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I'm not gonna be able to wear this thing.
Right.
So I set my ramp thing for 45 minutes, so it won't, get to the full setting for 45 minutes. And I had a chance to fall off to sleep before I.
Yeah. Right.
So, but I thought this thing's gonna wake me up.
Right.
As soon as it gets to full air, I'm gonna wake up.
But you didn't.
But I didn't. And I couldn't believe it. I felt good.
That's crazy. It's crazy that they came up with that idea.
Now, when I first put it on, I didn't have my mask tight enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so no matter how I turned, I could hear a little air leakage, and that would wake me up.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't take but a few minutes for me to tighten those things up and feel good. Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad that's working out.
Me too. I know you are. The only problem I had is when I did wake up and needed to go to the bathroom, it made it a little difficult because I had to get all unhooked and
Right.
all, and then when you take it off, it's going.
Right.
So if you don't want to wake your partner, then you have to cut the off button on.
Then you have to crank it back up.
Yeah, and then you have to do the ramp.
It's the ramp. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
So.
Well.
So who knows what I'll feel like tonight, but I have a feeling it's going to be the same.
What's
Well,
it? Is it just air?
It's just air.
I need to put it on and see what it's like.
Well,
I'm
you
just
won't
curious.
like it just to feel it. You
I'm
won't
just
like
curious.
it.
I'm gonna have to put it on and see what it's like.
Okay.
I just want to.
I'll cut you up to full capacity. So did any of y'all go and see the Barbie Ken movie yesterday?
Somebody
that was
wants
released?
to know, is it loud?
It is when it's not on your face, but you can't hear anything when it's on your face.
Yeah.
When it's on your face, it's silent.
It's not that loud though.
Oh, it is when it's not on your face.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When it's the mask is just sitting there, but when the mask is on,
you don't hear anything.
I don't hear anything.
No.
And I mean, it's a little bit, but I have this may be an Alabama thing or a Southern thing. I don't know, but
a fan.
We got a ceiling fan that goes, but I also have, a lot of people have box fans, but I got one of those, just a regular stand-up fan, and it sits beside the bed and cut it on. Mm-hmm. And when you cut that thing on,
it drowns out.
You can't hear anything.
That's right.
And I run the fan in the wintertime. I'll just turn it around where it blows. It's just the sound of that fan. I don't know if a lot of you guys do that or not, but I don't know if I can sleep without a fan. It's very difficult. Like if we go somewhere to a hotel or something, that there's been many a time that I thought about, because we do have a box fan. Well, maybe we ought to take that box fan with us.
Well, you are a
light sleeper.
I don't know if it's light.
I used to be a really light sleeper, but not like I am now.
Finicky sleeper.
Yeah.
I think that lack of stress has a lot to do with the sleep that you. I may be wrong, but I feel like, when you're working a job and you have stresses, and it just is on your mind, and therefore you're not getting the quality sleep if you didn't have worries on your mind. Now, last night I was worried.
Yeah.
I was worried about putting T-post in.
Yeah.
But I just let it go to the wayside.
Yeah.
But I don't think with the job, with the boss, that you can.
I think what happened to me with the light sleeping is, some of y'all don't know, I worked at the funeral home, and your dad was vice president of the funeral home. And so in my younger years, I worked at the funeral home, and back in those days, we didn't have cell phones. We had beepers. And the way it worked the way the schedule worked is that, all right, so like on Monday would be it's a weird schedule, but Monday would be my first starting day of the week. So on my Monday, I would work. I'd have that evening off. Tuesday, I would work during the day and be on second call.
Which means that if there were two deaths, then the first person on first call would go get the first one.
Yep.
And then if there was a second death, then the person on second call would go.
That's right.
So that way there was always a backup in case something happened.
That's right. So then the next day, you worked all day and you were on first call.
Meaning any deaths that occur, you're responsible for going to get on.
You're the first person called.
The middle of the night.
That's right. And then the next day, you worked all day and you spent the night at the funeral home.
You spent the night. So guess what?
Yeah.
Somebody always spent the night at the funeral home.
Yep. But again, this was before call forwarding, no cell phones back then, nothing, none of that technology that we have today. And that made me a light sleeper because I was so scared that I was going to miss the call.
And all throughout my childhood, every third night, my daddy was not at home.
Mm-hmm.
He spent the night away from home.
Yep.
And then he would have one night off where he was not on call. He did not work all night.
That's right.
It was actually every fourth night he spent the night away from home.
Maybe that
because it was first, second, work all night, and then off.
That's right.
And then it started back
You're
over.
Right. It was first, second, off. That's right.
that was a bad schedule to try to get used to. Even as a child of somebody that worked that schedule,
Yep.
it was difficult.
It was, and then you got a weekend off every 6 week. You would fall, and your weekend would be off every 6 weeks, and plus you worked all the holidays too.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the way
It was crazy.
The way the cards fell is that my dad kind of encouraged Jason when he had another job opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to take that job opportunity
Yep.
and not live the life that I grew up living, which was with the daddy away from home every, well, possibly second, third, and fourth night.
That's right. You worked all the time.
You worked all the time. And so he led Jason to do what he thought was in his best interest, but know that his family life would be limited if he stayed at the funeral home.
Right.
But had he stayed at the funeral home, he would own it right now.
I probably would be the owner of the funeral home.
You
right
would.
now. Yeah.
And I'm so thankful.
Yeah. Me too.
I'm so thankful that we aren't Cog Hill Funeral Home.
Me too.
And that we're Cog Hill Farm.
Yep.
And I say that not with no appreciation for the ownership of ability to own a business.
Yeah.
But for the lifestyle.
Yeah, it was crazy. And not that you necessarily
worked hard.
Because, if nobody passed away, then you didn't do anything.
That's
basically. Right. But it was you were at that business all the time. But if it was it's crazy now to think how fast technology has, you know what I mean? Because back then, if you wanted to go to lunch, you had to take the beeper with you and put the beeper on your side.
Oh my gosh! As a child or as a teenager, I would say teenager.
Yeah.
My dad and I would eat lunch a lot of times, and he would say, "Meet me at the Downtowner," and so I would drive my car and I would meet him at the Downtowner, and he'd have that beeper on. And y'all, there were numerous times when he would have to leave lunch because somebody passed away, and he would have to go and pick up the body.
And I don't know if I still do or not, but I did at one time have the most calls in one night.
You never slept?
I never slept. I think it was 5 calls that night. It was crazy. As soon as I got back, I had to go back out again.
And they were unrelated.
Oh yeah, it was.
It's not like it was a car wreck with 5 people.
No, it
passed away.
It was really, 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 really crazy. But
now I think, back then, if there was a call and it was to the hospital, y'all had to still go in the middle of the night.
Yeah, because the hospitals didn't have a morgue.
But do they now?
I don't know. I don't know if the hospitals around here did or not.
That was where most of his calls during the middle of the night were to the hospital.
Yeah.
And
you go to hospital.
Y'all, they didn't wait till the next morning to embalm.
No.
He would have his call and go and pick up the body, have to go back to the funeral home and embalm the body. So if that was taking place and there's somebody else passed away, that's when that second call person comes in, because it would take a few hours, to embalm somebody.
So I got to tell y'all a funny story that happened to me. So I was young. Of course, imagination's big. And, even though I spent the night up there, and the guys have been doing it for years, if they knew that I locked the door that the sleeping quarters were in, they would have made big fun of me.
Yes.
And so, but I always locked that door because.
And my daddy didn't shut the door.
Yeah. And I always locked the door, like that was going to stop a ghost or something from coming in my room. So I was I'd always lock that door. So so I went up to go. It was the middle of the night, and I didn't have nothing on but my underwear. And I got up to go use the bathroom, which was out of the room. And the door was automatic. It kind of automatic. No, it didn't automatic. Anyways, I got up to go pee. And when I came back, the door was shut. And this is at 12:30 a.m. and the door was locked. And my clothes are in there. Everything is in this room. And
no cell phone. No.
Here I am. Business is going to open up like normal business, the next morning. And I'm like, what in the world am I going to? And then my thought is, if I call your dad and tell him what has happened, he's going to be furious for me calling him at 12:30 in the morning for one. then the fact that I'm in my underwear out here, and y'all, I scrambled. So then I was like, there's got to be a key around here somewhere. So I searched that funeral home from one up down the other for a key, and I never found a key. So I don't know. It's probably about 3:30 at this point, and I'm kind of panicking now because number one, I'm young, you know, and
You were probably 21.
I had to be in my early 20s. Had to be in my early 20s. So I'm like, what in the world am I gonna do? So I finally found a butter knife. And y'all, it's a true story now. I ended up taking the molding off the door so I could see the latch. And once I got the latch, I could see the latch. I could stick the butter knife in there, and it's probably well on to 3:30 in the morning now. And pop it and got the door open. But then I got the door open, which I was super relieved, but the door framing was all off the door. But I got it all back up, and you really couldn't. I mean, you could if you looked, because you could see where the paint popped off the nail holes and all that. But
you went back to sleep?
I don't know if I went back to sleep. I was so relieved that I could at least get to my clothes. And
you're so different than my daddy was, because he'd have walked out to his car in his underwear and not thought twice about it.
Yeah,
But Jason is not that way. He's a good man. Not that my daddy wasn't a good man, but he's what do you call it?
I'm more bashful, I guess, maybe is what I'm looking for him. I don't know.
I mean, I would have friends over, and my daddy would walk down the hall with, in his underwear. Jason would be there, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, please put some clothes on. He just didn't think anything about it.
But I did get in, and y'all, it was I was so relieved. I remember the next morning telling everybody. Of course, they thought it was just absolutely hilarious. And this now, this is true. Listen, so after I told, your dad said, well, why didn't you just get the key? And I was like, man, I tore this funeral home up for the key. Right across from the door was the doorbell. You know, you got your doorbell.
Yeah. I remember it.
He said, well, it's right here. Just picked up right there, and there it was. I was like, oh, you gotta be
the office
kidding me. Yes, right next in the hallway.
Yeah.
There's a doorbell up there.
I could see it
and
right
the key
now.
was sitting on top of that doorway.
Gracious.
Oh my gosh. Right there.
So I spent the night there one time.
Oh, you did. Hurricane. Which hurricane was that? Opal.
Was it?
Opal.
I have no idea what hurricane it was.
It was Opal.
But where we lived there were pine trees completely surrounding our house.
Yeah.
And so when a storm came, the pine trees snapped when it was high winds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you had to worry about. Not them uprooting, because they have a taproot. But where we were, there was no way around a tree not falling on the house and potentially,
right,
sending us to the funeral home. So in all safety, we decided, as it was a family of 3, I have no siblings, my mom, my dad, and myself, spent the night at the funeral home. And my friends thought that was the most bizarre thing they had ever heard. Because, you weren't scared. You weren't scared sleeping at that funeral home?
Yeah.
Because if we went to get, say I needed $5 and I needed to go to the funeral home, I went in the back door and went down the hall to go see my dad, and I thought nothing of it.
Right.
And they'd be like this. They thought that there were like bodies laying around everywhere, and that's not how it worked.
Right.
But I spent the night there, and we went home to a mess in the yard, and so happy we didn't spend the night there.
Because there were so many pine trees.
It was. There. And then my daddy backed my car into his car that night.
Yep.
He went to move the cars because he thought that where one of them was parked, a tree had potential to hit it. And he went to move my car, and he backed it into my mama's car.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a good day.
It was not a good day.
And I don't think I slept a wink.
Well,
and I bet we had the door open.
Well, that bed in there was just a single bed.
Well, I slept on the floor. I can remember that.
I was going to say, because it was just a little old single bed. But the room was like a little, it's like a little
It's like-
den.
yeah, well, it's like a
Had
bedroom.
a couch and it had a TV and all that in there.
I think my mama slept on the bed, and my dad slept on the little couch, and I slept on the floor.
I got
So you could hear the wind, even in the funeral home. It was just
Yeah.
And as far north as we are, we still have, hurricane or tropical storm
Right.
winds, which is 75 miles an hour. And that's going to take a pine tree and snap it in half.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
heard last night about how warm the Gulf is and how they're worried about storms.
Well, I had told you that, but I had watched Ryan Hall, y'all,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that El Nino, is that right?
Well, there
right.
used to be something called El Nino.
And it's over where it needs to be, and it creates a lot of wind shear, and that it's going to counteract. He said so.
We don't have to worry.
They think it's just going to be a normal year.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
But he said because it's crazy because we have two extreme situations. We got the warm Gulf and we have El Nino. And
I want El Nino to win.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
El Nino. El Nino. I'm probably not even saying it right, but yeah, we don't wish for hurricanes for especially anybody that's in that area.
That's right.
Oh goodness, I could never live anywhere like that. I just couldn't do it because I would never get any rest. If I saw a red dot in the Gulf on the weather map, I would have to go north.
Yep.
And I'd always be north.
Oh, we look at the red dots in the Gulf too, because we know there's a possibility that it could affect us.
And we're 40 miles further north than we were.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that that's going to take care of anything, but we will be better off.
That's right.
The last one, I can remember we walked outside at Little Cog, and it smelled like a
Christmas tree.
Oh my!
Air freshener.
The smell of pine was so overwhelming. Yep. It was like Bath and Body Works scent.
Yeah, it was.
But
pines had snapped and all that. Yeah, it was crazy.
So if you live in a hurricane-prone zone,
we feel for you.
We feel for you. It's just you can't control it. I mean, it's out of your control. Oh, goodness.
So I had a few questions that I wrote down that I saw repeated.
Okay.
Here recently, especially after yesterday's video. Number one was, could I do an aerial view and and show where everything is? And I tried to do that, or I thought about it, but on my editing software, number one, I don't know how to do it, and number two, I think it's a little complicated and time consuming. To try to, I mean, it sounds simple enough to have lines, but to set all that up, and it would have taken me a long time. So
you just have to wait and see it.
So that once we get the build, or what I may can do is maybe take a picture, but it would be black and white, and hand draw the lines.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
And I may do that. So that was one thing that kept coming up, but that's the reason why I didn't do it, is because I just don't have that type of equipment, animation equipment or anything to make that happen.
Nor the time to
it sounds easy. It really does, but it's not.
I guess if you had the right equipment, it would be easy, but we don't have that.
Yeah.
If you were a surveyor or a mapper.
I don't know if they could do it video wise though.
That probably, I see these land companies advertising all the time.
Yeah.
Especially on like Facebook Marketplace,
right.
And it'll be an aerial, and it'll have the stuff drawn off, and I'm like,
okay, maybe so.
Technology
I'll figure something
but
we're
else. We're not land surveyors.
No. No, not at all.
And we're not funeral directors either.
No, not funeral directors either. Not at all.
We're farmers.
That's right. That's right. So, but I did show drone shots of everything, but to try to give everybody some type of visual. But I'll try to do that, and
before you get it done, we'll have the fences up.
Maybe I'm making. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Another question that kept coming up that I saw over and over again is, why do we have the bees in the full sun? Shouldn't they be in the shade? And it's the opposite with bees. And the main reason is because of pests. The bees can handle the full sun. They know how to handle the full sun, but their
Hive beetles.
hive beetles are the main thing. The hive beetles do not like the full sun. So that's why most beekeepers keep their hives out in the full sun. If you ever noticed, all beekeepers, hardcore beekeepers, their hives are always in the full sun. And that's why.
Yes, for the bees' benefit.
Yeah. But the pests don't like it. So that's why our bees are in the full sun. And that was one reason that we were very unsuccessful at our other farm trying to raise bees, because we didn't have full sun over there, and the hive beetles would just run rampant on our hives no matter what we would do to try to control them.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's why our bees are in the full sun. Or if you ever notice, next time you watch somebody YouTube video or you see beehives or something, notice them. And most of the time, unless it's a situation that they can't, but most of the time you'll notice that they are in the full sun.
That's right.
Some people were worried about the power pole, and Moody and them are not going to hurt that power pole in the least. That thing is, oh my gosh!
I don't even know how deep it is in the ground, but
I don't. And they drive it.
They drive it
with a big hammer, and
there are cow pastures all over.
Yeah, that's got power poles in it around here.
Multiple power poles.
Yep.
We just have one.
If a car was to come and hit that power pole, I don't think that power pole would move very much. So
there are very few instances, and it usually breaks in half before it comes up.
Right.
And Moody's not going to break it in half.
No, he's not going to break it. And I really don't think they're going to be. They're just going to have so much area and so much other things to do that I really don't think it's going to be an issue at all.
And I also have a feeling that with as much area as it is, they are not going to be able to consume the amount of grass that's there. So we're probably still going to be
cutting grass
grass. And I may start a cog-kill cattle farm.
So you can keep the grass
cut. I can keep the grass cut. I enjoy cutting grass, but it does bother me when it gets to a point where I don't have time to take care of it all. And especially now that we're going to have areas that are fenced in, we've thought in the past about getting somebody to come in and cut hay and do it on house, but nobody's going to come into a fenced area and us move animals around. Right. So it's on me for sure now, which I don't mind. Right. But I want it. I like my grass to be manicured. Right. So, and it gets to a certain point where animals won't even eat it if it gets too tall.
Yeah. If it gets too tall, and
the nutrition is not there anymore for them, and they know that. Yeah. They like it when it's the fresh shoots, and that's when it's at its finest. And I will do my best to make sure that they have fresh shoots. Some people wanted to know, why do we feed our cows hay in the summertime when we got grass? Well, not only cows, but goats. Yeah. Our goats consume more grass than our cows do, if you can believe that. But we want our animals to be as happy as they possibly can.
That's right.
If they prefer hay over grass, then we're going to make that happen.
Yep.
And if it costs us an extra dime, then we're willing to do that, because our farm runs for our animals. Yeah. Our purpose is to take care of them to their fullest. Right. And we take a lot of our income and put it back into our animals. Whereas I don't care what other people do. Right. But there's a lot of people that don't do that. Right. And if they choose to do that, that's fine. But that's not us. We want the best for our animals, and we want them to be as happy as they can possibly be. Yep. So,
but that's
I think y'all all know that we very much so love our animals, and they love us too, but they don't feed us.
No.
They could, but they're not going to feed us. Our animals are our pets, and it will always be that way.
That's right.
I'm not going to get into all that.
So what is the plan? I saw two other questions is Gus and Loretta.
Yes.
And I did fail to mention them in that video because I was just focusing on that area and what animals are going over there. Our plan is, because Gus and Loretta love to root so much, is that we may even rotate them, but our plan is to keep them in the area they are over there. Mm-hmm. And
Probably
they are
not
now.
not in with the pigeons.
Right, not in that, but in where Moody and the goats and everybody is now, and maybe rotate them around through there. And so that's our plan with that area over there. And that's it. Just mainly because they like to dig up and root up so much. Is that
we know that would happen under the lean-tos.
yes.
We know that the barn area would be all rooted up.
Right.
And it's not that we don't want them to have access to it, because we would love it, but
right.
they would tear it up.
Right.
And so we will have 4 porta huts once the animals move.
Right.
And we can put one in each paddock if we want to.
Yeah, we got all kind of options for them. So they'll as long as they're together, and and plus those pastures are big too. So
they're
plenty big for them.
They're plenty big.
Yeah.
We maybe even can take the tractor at that point and dig them out a big mud hole, and who knows? Our possibilities are endless at that point.
Yep.
But the pigs do plan to stay on this side of the property where they are now.
And if we see for any reason that that's not happening or working, or we think, well, maybe it'd be cool to move them over here and it may work out, we'll just move them over there.
That's right.
Nothing's in stone and nothing's permanent.
But we that's our plan.
That's our plan. And that's our plan with that area over there. And our plan with that area over there as well is to keep running the chickens over in that area instead of moving them to where
the pastures
are, because we don't want the goats and all getting in that electric netting.
Yeah.
And so they'll have plenty of pastures on this side where Nugget and the alarm system and Moody and all of them are.
Yeah.
So we'll be good with those guys too. And that question was coming up as well.
And it'll be simple to hook it up to the tractor and just pull it. And plus it'll be a fence inside of a fence.
Right.
Which is where I think a lot of people don't understand that our animals are, for the most part, double protected, so to speak, because our property has a fence around it.
Right.
Then there will be a fence inside of that where our animals stay. Not to say that prevents all predators, because it doesn't.
Right.
But it does make it a deterrence.
It does help. It does help. And then a lot of questions were coming up is what type of fencing are we using for the animals? And basically the same fencing we have now, but what I want to do is, and I told you this too, is that I want to run a hot wire at the top and a hot wire at the bottom for everybody.
Yes.
And that way, any predator was to come and come up to the fence low, then they would be deterred. And if any of them wanted to go up or try the top,
to climb,
then they would be deterred. So that's what our plan is to do there. And of course, we got all the dogs, and of course, we got Jesse, and we got Nugget. So we have a lot of deterrence.
I would say that is quintupled.
Yeah,
protected.
I think so too. And if we see that we need to add another donkey to the mix and all,
Gosh, I thought you were going to say a dog. I love Jesse.
Oh, Jesse is a hoot.
Jesse is a hoot. And speaking of dogs and Jesse, y'all, my boys are fascinated with Jesse.
And you know what? She doesn't mind them at all.
It is weird. They kiss each other through the fence.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. They don't pay any attention to any other animal.
Yeah.
They don't pay attention to the goats. Nobody else. But they kiss Jesse through the fence.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know what
because
it is.
We've always been told that donkeys don't like canines.
Yeah.
But maybe she knows that feels comfortable in their hours or something like that.
It is both of them. It's not Bandit or Rocky. It is both of them.
Yeah.
And she seems to like them.
Yeah.
When she doesn't like something, you can tell her ears go back, and it's just a love through the fence.
Right.
So maybe one day they will become running mates.
Maybe so.
And Jesse can run loose with the dogs and be free. And not really, y'all. I'm kidding.
Oh, me. But yeah, Jessie is a mess. She is absolute mess. And there were some people, and I thought I made it clear in the video that when I meant girl goats, I meant Jessie and Tip and
who aren't girl goats.
Yeah, who aren't girl goats. That's what I meant when I was talking about grouping the girl goats that
You
but
know, I may be wrong in saying this,
mhm.
but I think men are more assumptuous, if
Well,
that's a word, to think that people know what they're talking about.
well, I mean, I did do that. I even put a picture of Jesse when I said it. So
Okay.
yeah, I know I did it. But maybe I think a lot of people sometimes will comment on
Before
a
they watch
video
it.
and they're commenting while they're watching it,
I gotcha.
and it's hard to go back and take that comment off.
Oh yeah, I get it.
And so
What's done is done.
what's done is done, and I think that's what happens a lot of times.
And also there were some questions about the air conditioning unit being and the electricity being in and exposed to the animals.
Right.
That part will not have any access to animals.
That's right.
There will be, and we planned it that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Yep.
we put it all on the back side of the barn, so
Mhm.
no animals would be
Yep.
in that area and have no danger to them nor the equipment.
That's right. All that'll be fenced off and separated it from everybody.
Let's look at the radar.
You want to look at the radar?
I want to look at the radar, and I want to show these people if we're going to be working or if we're going to be drinking coffee all day.
And I've seen it asked a bunch of times today, is that did the T-post driver come in?
I want to tell y'all something. We're at 51 minutes, and I don't know if I got enough time to tell y'all this.
We ain't no time schedule.
So,
I'd always go ahead.
Yesterday, as you guys know, we were talking about it earlier. We went over to Selma. We dropped Mary Carl off with Piper's family. Jason hung out with Ryan while I went over to Laura's at Simply Making It. Video coming out tomorrow, by the way. I went over and stayed with Laura for a few hours, and they were supposed to call me from the rental place when the T-post driver arrived. So it was shipped from North Alabama on a freight truck on Tuesday. And on Thursday, it was still not at the Pelham location. So yesterday, I called yesterday morning while we were on the way to Selma and made sure that they were aware that when that post driver comes to call me. And I did not get a call. The whole time I was at Laura's. I left Laura's at 1 o'clock, and I called the place in Pelham, which is where the T-post driver was shipped to, and they told me that it had just gotten there. Okay, well, I understand. What time do y'all close? 5 o'clock. I'm in Selma at this time. I have to still go get Jason from Ryan's, and you had to go through Clanton, which is our biggest city, which is where our house is, to get to Pelham. So I'm looking at 2 hours to get to Pelham. So I call Jason and I tell him, get your bags packed. I'm picking you up curbside at Ryan's. Tell Ryan that I can't come in. Hope he understands.
Yeah.
Pick Jason up curbside. We head to our house to drop off some goat cheese that Laura had made for me. Run inside, drop that off, head to Pelham. We get in traffic.
Big traffic.
Big traffic.
Mm-hmm.
65 north. It was a traffic jam. We look at the GPS and it's going to take us 2 hours for a 45-minute trip. Okay, that's okay. We're going to be there at 4:43.
Mm-hmm.
They close at 5.
That's right.
We're good. I get there at about 4:40, I guess it
20
was.
minutes till 5.
20 minutes till 5. I walk in. The guy is looking at his computer like this, and he looks up. Can I help you? And I said, yes, sir. I said, I'm here to pick up the gas post driver. And he said, waited till the last minute, didn't you? And I said,
almost 5 o'clock.
And I said, well, you don't close till 5, do you? And he said, no, ma'am, but it's hot outside and my guys are tired and it's close enough. I said, okay. I said, well, I'm parked out front. He said, okay, I'll send my guys around. About that time, somebody else walked in. He said, can I help you? The guy said, yes, I want to rent a 8x10 trailer. He said, waited till the last minute, didn't you? And he said, well, yeah, but it's not 5 o'clock yet. It's close enough. So he said, I'm sending my guys around. And y'all, I am telling you, he was a young guy. He was ready to get off. It was 5 o'clock.
It was
not 5
It
o'clock.
wasn't 5 o'clock, but it was Friday. and he was ready to leave that company.
He was ready to leave it, and y'all,
But he's gonna get off at 5 no matter what. He's still gonna. It don't matter.
he
You're still leaving at 5 no matter if you're waiting on somebody, if you're not waiting on somebody. It's still 5 o'clock. 5
That's
o'clock.
right. So the guy that's renting the trailer, the guy tells him that's working there, he said, it's really hot outside. My guys have been working all day out in that heat, and we're ready to go home. The guy looks at him and he said, well, my buddy stole my trailer, and I'm trying to move this weekend, and I need to rent a trailer.
Oh, gosh.
And so he wasn't being ugly. He was just being to the point.
Yeah.
And so the guy that was working the counter walked off, and the guy that was renting the trailer looked at me and he said, what's wrong with him? And I said, I wondered the same thing.
Man.
So about that time, the guys walked through, and they've got the
who work outside.
Y'all, they were soaking wet.
And they were the most happiest, cheerful. I didn't go in. I just, when they came outside.
Yeah. Jason sat with the car running because it was hot.
They were the most happiest, cheerful guys. And they came out there together and loaded it up and everything. And were, I mean, of course, but they were older and they knew 5 o'clock's 5 o'clock. If you're sitting there watching the clock and it's 5 o'clock, or if you're loading a machine up,
it doesn't matter.
5 o'clock's 5 o'clock.
So when the counter guy told his guys to go get the post driver,
yeah,
he told me, he said, just pull through the fence and we'll get you loaded. And the guys that were getting the post driver said, it's not that heavy. We can just bring it around to them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that made that guy a little angry. He had a little fluster on his face. And about that time, he said, it's on a pallet. And I looked at him and I said, I'm in a SUV. And he said, well, you're going to have to put it in your car. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, this may not go over real well.
Yeah.
But the guys bring it out, and it's on a dolly. It's not on a pallet. It's on a dolly.
All they did was just cut it off the pallet.
Yeah, it was not a difficult situation.
It wasn't a difficult situation.
But y'all, when we left out of that rental place, there were 2 pieces of equipment that passed us on a trailer that I have no doubt were rental equipment.
Oh, we were so tickled.
So by this time, it's 10 till 5. And they're obviously going to take that equipment back.
Oh, gosh.
At 5 o'clock.
Oh.
Y'all, he didn't have a good evening. he may still be there trying to check this equipment in from yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was not happy. He was not happy with me at all.
But that just came back on him. Because he was being so ugly.
He was being so ugly. And I told Jason, I said, at 4:59, I'm going to call and I'm going to ask him what time they close. And I didn't do it. But I just wanted to hear his voice.
I don't think he would answer the phone.
I don't think so either. Y'all, if you had seen the way he looked at me over the top of that computer at 20 till 5 and told me that they were about to close.
Oh, bless his heart.
Bless his heart. I said, well, I would have been here earlier if I hadn't got in 2 hours worth of traffic.
Yeah, we would have been there.
And I was trying to be nice, you know. I mean, there was no reason for me to be ugly with him, and I never was.
Yeah.
But I was tickled about it. I did tell the guys when they were loading it up, I said, boy, he's not really nice to deal with, is he? And they said, no, ma'am. Oh, goodness. So they felt the same way about the whole situation.
That's right.
And they were probably thrilled to be outside in the 150-degree temperature.
Instead of being in there with him.
Yes. He was on his phone when I went in.
Yeah.
It's not like he was. All right, so show the radar.
So I don't think our day's going to be as
productive as we want it to be.
As productive as I want it to be.
But guess what?
What?
We're not going to pout and sulk about it.
Nope.
We're going to go drink more coffee.
That's right.
And get prepared for when the rain goes away.
That's right.
That's the way you got to look at life.
That's
if
right.
you look at it the way that guy did, you'll never be happy.
I know it. Man, look at it.
I mean,
That's a line. Look how it's going to be raining for a while.
And y'all get this. I never signed the first paper. I
Mm-mm.
never checked the thing out. I never did anything. He told me they would load it up
Yeah.
and go to my car.
And then I was standing there because I was gonna help them load it up, but I mean,
They
were
said I'm good to go.
two big old strapping men, and that thing weighs probably 50 pounds. So,
And it was on a dolly, so
and it
that
was
made
on
it
a
kind of
dolly.
awkward.
But I heard you ask, do I need to sign anything? They said, you good.
You good. So they don't know what day I checked the thing out. Because it's
Yeah.
due 7
Yeah,
days from
that's
when I
right.
checked it out. And, what's today? The 22nd?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot.
We had paid for it though. We
Oh,
paid for it over the phone.
I paid
Yeah.
for it, but the lady that I paid for it was in North Alabama.
Yeah.
And she said that it will go from the date I check it out.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know when I checked it out.
Maybe he manually.
I doubt it.
Maybe he signed your name.
I doubt it.
That
If he did, he
crazy
backed it up.
lady that came at 5.
Yep. Gosh, y'all, I just don't know how some people deal with themselves.
Oh, me.
I don't know how they sleep at night knowing that
Yeah.
they're not nice to others.
Yes.
It doesn't take anything to be
A good
nice,
person.
to be a good person.
That's right.
It doesn't matter what kind of
Yep.
day you're having. Don't
That's right.
express it to others.
Yep.
Be happy. Be nice.
Yeah,
Fake it till you make it.
that's right. You're right. I see people saying that I wish we could send some of this rain to Lester's in a drought over there, and his grass ain't doing too good, his pasture grass. And I sure wish I could send some of his way.
Yeah.
Wish I had a giant fan and could just blow it on over, because I would.
We want to help, but that's beyond our control, unfortunately.
I did help Lester this week though, with his septic tank.
You did.
Yeah. oh man, that y'all.
Jason laughed until he cried, and he showed me the video. And I'm not the person that laughs out loud. I get tickled over things,
Yeah.
but it takes a lot to make me laugh out loud. While that was funny, Jason had watched it for the 33rd time, and he was laughing just like he is right now.
I was crying. I was laughing so hard, nothing was coming out of my mouth,
It was just,
and my stomach was just hurting. I was crying because, when we do things like that together, we don't know what the final product looks like.
yeah.
And so when he showed it to me, oh my gracious, y'all, because he showed it to me before he posted it, because
Yes.
he wanted to make sure I was cool with it, and that we do each other that way, and I was literally crying, and I told him that. I said, I am crying.
And he's not telling the story either. If he watched it right now, he'd laugh just as hard as he did
I would.
that day he showed it to me.
It was so over the top. It's so him, and I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I didn't, but it turned out so funny.
When Lester asked Jason to help him with the septic tank, Jason's fear was that you guys were going to think that Lester was harmed or
that
he was a bad guy,
or that I didn't want people to think that it was actually a real event and that I was being ugly to Lester. That's right. And I tricked him. And I
should have described that better.
But
Jason
once
said,
you watched
it's obvious.
Once you watched it, you knew then it was absolutely obvious that it was all a joke. So it was absolutely.
And you were happy to see that.
Oh my gosh!
Because you would never hurt.
Right.
You would never hurt Lester.
Oh no, not at all. And then he started sending me pictures of the comments, and he said, this thing went exactly like we planned, because everybody was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. And it was. That is now, I don't know. The him faking like he's racing Carl with the ostrich race, which he's not. He's just
that's pretty funny. The jockey.
He's just doing a voiceover on the video. It's not him.
He's brilliant.
That I'm telling y'all, that video, if you have not seen that video, I don't know how you can go back and find it, because he posts 800 videos a day. But that video is so funny. I cry every time I watch it. But this one's pretty close too. It is absolutely hilarious.
Yes.
Man, if you haven't seen it, that one should be easy to find. And just at the very beginning, when the septic tank thing happens, and it's pretty fun. It is pretty funny, and Lester needed a good laugh because he's
Had some hard times.
he's had some rough stuff going on over there recently. So
And
it
he's
was
like
good.
us, you know.
Yep.
He want his goal in life is to make people happy,
Make people happy and make people laugh.
and make people
That's right.
smile. And if your goal is not the end result to do that, then
Yep.
you're not living right.
That's right.
So I think we should. Are you got anything else you want to
I'm
talk about?
done. I'm done.
Okay, so I think that I'll end this live with a plug for Cog Hill Coffee.
I will say this about Cog Hill Coffee in case anybody missed it. That is, the shipping on 4 bags is the same as 1. So I just say that in case some of you guys are like, well, I really like the coffee, and I'm probably going to buy, multiple bags because I like it. You could save money on shipping that way. Is 4 bags is the same as 1. But we're still working on things, y'all. We're still trying to figure it all out. We haven't been absolutely perfect. We've messed some orders up, but we have made it right. And we thank y'all. We thank y'all. You can go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No.
Yeah.
No. I was just going to tell people that may not know where you can purchase the coffee. We still have people that ask from time to time, where do I get this coffee? And it is on our website, which is www.coghillfarm.com.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the website, it's the first thing that comes up. You'll see those beautiful beans right in front of you, and you can purchase it from there. And we'll have, hopefully, decaf will be available this week. We'll do a big announcement when that's available.
Right.
And we'll all be drinking coffee throughout the day at that point. So you can have your decaf in the afternoon or evening, and your regular in the morning, or if you don't drink regular,
That's right.
But I thought we would start ending our coffee lives with a different way.
What's that?
Okay, so our Tuesday live end is y'all be good.
Wait a minute. 1 second. I don't want to interrupt you, but I've seen a lot of people saying, who's Lester? It is. He posts so many videos, and some of y'all are saying Longhorn Lester. People wanting to go see this. It's
where is the video?
It's either he's got 2 pages. He's got I'm a Survivor Animal Sanctuary, and he has Longhorn Lester. So it's on one of those 2 channels on Facebook or YouTube. So search that, and you should be able to find it. It's called Septic Shock. You should be able to find it. All right, go ahead.
Shock.
Yep.
So grab your cup.
Okay.
Everybody grab your cup. Everybody. Listen, this is serious.
It don't have to be coffee. It could be water, orange juice,
bourbon, whatever.
Whatever gets you going in the morning.
That's right.
Or evening if you're in Australia.
Yeah. So we raise our cup at the end of every coffee live.
Yeah.
And we toast it to Cog Hill Coffee.
We'll toast it there.
That's right. We toast it to you guys too. Let's do it again. We didn't do it right. Y'all ready?
Ready?
Cog Hill Coffee. We love y'all.
Y'all be good.